welcome to this tutorial on Meludia, which is an amazing web-based app to help you develop your listening skills and your ability to recognize musical sounds and musical structures in a really intuitive, developmental and accessible way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a couple of the exercises. I'm not going to go through comprehensively all of the possible exercises that you'll get, because once you sort of see how the app works, it actually becomes relatively straightforward and obvious as you go along how to incorporate and interact with all of the different exercises. So here we are actually in a screen that where we start to do some of the exercises, but I'm going to backtrack and just show you where I've come from. So down in the bottom left of the screen, there's a little icon with dots in it that is going to take us to the previous screen. And this dot down here will have different symbols in it depending on what the previous screen is. But it's always going to take you back to the previous screen. So we're going to press that and go back into the discovery level which has 8 sub-levels embedded into it. And then back again, we're going to go into the home screen, which is where we select our sort of general level. We have discovery, intermediate, advanced, and expert. I'm actually in the advanced level. I'm not in the expert level, because the expert level is actually really quite challenging, and also quite often we don't actually get to learn listening skills and oral skills in the way that Meludia actually sets it out. And the way that it sets it out enables you to get to some very, very advanced capacities to listen in ways that I don't think I've ever experienced before, even in my sort of 36 years of musical training. So it's really quite comprehensive. But the great thing is, when you start from discovery, it's so intuitive and so accessible and just straightforward for anyone to participate in. If you have functional hearing, that's all you really need to engage with this system. So if you're totally beginner with music and you really have no real understanding of how to engage with it, the beginning of discovery level is just perfect for you. If you have a little bit of experience to maybe a little bit more, you can find your place maybe by going ahead in discovery a few levels, or maybe even going into intermediate. The great thing about this program is you can jump in wherever is right for you, so you don't have to start at the beginning and make your way through everything. You can jump around to different exercises to find the one that's right for you, find the level that's right for you. So we're going to go into discovery, because we're going to just have a look at the very, very first exercises that we can do in Meludia. Just a few examples of that. So I'm clicking on the blue dot, and that's loading up the page to go into discovery. My internet is a little bit slow, so bear with me if it stalls at all. We're going to go into the first level of discovery, and you can see it's got 5 little arms, and each of these 5 arms has 5 sets of exercises that you can do in each of these different categories. We're not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to show you 2 or 3 so that you get a sense of the variety of kinds of exercises that we have. So maybe we'll look at rhythm. This is the blue arm. We're going to click in the middle there. Because I've actually completed all of these, because I've gone through it before, all of the dots are coloured in, but when you're just starting, the dots won't be coloured in. So that's just a little side note. So we have here the question that we're essentially answering in this exercise, in this set of exercises. We're in the first set, so this is just the beginning. We can, if you've never done this exercise before and you kind of really don't know what it's about, you can do a little practice first. You can see the practice and the play buttons. I'm going to do a practice so we can see what it's about. So clicking on that, and yep, okay. So you can click on any of the images in the exercise to understand what they're about, and then you can do a practice test. So you can see a line of numbers here. If I click on in one of those circles, So I can see that that was what 3 percussive hits sounds like. Let's see what 2 sounds like. Let's see what 7 sounds like. So essentially in this exercise, all you have to do is count the amount of percussive hits that you hear. So let's do a practice test to see how we go with that. So this is pressing the black sort of throbbing dot in the center of the page. I counted 7, and that was correct. Let's try another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So it flashes green when you get it right, and it flashes red when you don't. So that's quite obvious. So let's play the game and do the test. 5, 6, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see how that works. I won't complete. Actually, no, I will. I think that was 6. Yes. 2, 3. Oh, 2. 6. 4. So pretty straightforward. And then it comes up with a screen, with how you went in that exercise. You can restart. You can do it again if you want to. You can practice again if you want to down the bottom right of the screen. Or you can continue in the middle to the next set of exercises in this particular category. So we're not going to do any of that. We're going to go back. So the bottom left is a little circle icon to take us back. And we're going into another training area. Let's do melody next. So clicking on melody to get us the first exercise. Now here we have underlined words. So if there are any of the words in the exercise description or in the question that you don't understand, you can click on that and it will give you an explanation. A melody is a series of notes that forms a musical phrase in the same way that there's a series of words forms a sentence in a language. So that's a pretty straightforward explanation of a melody. Then we can look at what ascending means in music, sound movement going from low to high pitch notes with the impression of becoming lighter and lighter. Okay, so descending is essentially the opposite, going from high to low, giving the impression of becoming heavier and heavier. So the explanations that they give are actually quite intuitive in the sense that they explain it in a way that makes sense to anyone, even if you don't have any musical sort of formal musical knowledge. So that's great. So let's do a practice and see what this exercise is about. So I'm going to click on the ascending. Okay, so we've got piano sounds that are getting higher and higher for the ascending and descending. So again, piano sounds getting lower and lower. Now, when they're ascending, they will be starting from anywhere. So it still might be starting from a relatively high note, but still ascending. Or it might be starting from a relatively low note and still descending. Or it might be starting from a high note and descending. So you're just listening for where the notes are moving, which direction they're moving in. Let's do a practice test. Descending. Descending. Try another one. Ascending. So you see how that works. Let's play pressing the button down the bottom. Ascending. Ascending. Descending, sorry. Ascending. Descending. descending. So that gives us a sense of the melody exercises. Now, on my iPad, sometimes the browser kind of stops and doesn't go on to the next screen. So I either have to refresh or go back. Let's try going back. It's not going to let me go back, so I'm going to refresh. Sometimes that happens. I don't know if that's going to be the case on other devices. They do say that it works best with Chrome, so you might just want to use Chrome. Let's go back, and we'll just try one more. We will try stable and unstable. So this relates to the notion of tension and release that we discuss in our collective music work. There's no words here that can give an explanation. So we're just going to have a look at the exercise and see what it's about. Let's practice. Okay, now that's stable. That's unstable. Okay, so this is what stable and unstable sound like. So again, I'm just tapping in the screen to get a sense of what these things mean. Stable, okay. So now unstable. Wow, that's really clashy, yeah? Really unpleasant kind of sound. So another way you could think of it is pleasant or unpleasant. Pleasant, unpleasant, yeah? So that's quite intuitive. Let's do a practice test. That's unpleasant. Another one. Pleasant. Unpleasant. Unpleasant. Pleasant. So that's really the notion of stable and unstable is it has that effect on us. It's either pleasing or not pleasing. So let's play the game. That was pleasing. Stable. Ugh. Ugh. Oh yeah, nice. 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 So you see, that's just the difference between stable and unstable, and that develops into recognizing chords and what kinds of chords sound stable and what kinds of chords sound unstable. So that's a really, really useful aspect. So that we're just going to leave it there in terms of going through the exercises, because now you can see sort of how to navigate through. You can come back to the screen of the level that you're in and play around with the different categories of training. You can go back into discovery and you could go, okay, well, that was a bit easy. I'm going to jump forward to level 4 and see what level 4 is like. And you can go in there and try some of these different categories. You can see it's got stable and unstable, and it's got rhythm, but it's got density, which level 1 also had. But then it's got other ones like major arpeggio and pitch identification gymnastics. Don't be put off by any of these terms. They're just musical terms. As you saw in the previous exercises, there is plenty of opportunity for getting explanation of any words that you're not familiar with, and also to practice the tests and play around with the different elements of the test so that you can get an understanding of it before doing it. So we are going to click back down the bottom left and click back into the main screen of the 4 different levels. So that's just a basic rundown of how Meludia works. I really highly recommend that you treat this kind of like a little game that you play on a daily basis, or a few times a week. Just when you have an idle moment, when you're looking for a little bit of a distraction, all it takes is just a few minutes to do one round in one of those screens with the swirly arms. You can do one of the exercises in each category, and that will take you anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. So it's a really quick little game to play. And it's going to start manifesting itself in your ability to engage with music with more awareness, um, with I guess with the ability to tune in to musical sounds a little bit more, and as you go through it progresses really intuitively, really accessibly, and really developmentally, so that by the time you're getting into intermediate, advanced, and even expert levels, your ability to hear will be quite highly refined. I'm actually only in advanced level. I'm somewhere, kind of getting towards the middle of advanced level. So, and it's because the way that they've put together this system is actually a way that a lot of people don't get trained in, even when they get highly trained in, at university level of music, in oral skills at that level. There's still a lot of things in this system that they don't learn because it's intuitive listening. Um, so, and the way that that applies into music making with other people is really direct. It's really, really relevant, really applicable. So all of these skills are exactly what you need to be able to jam more and more consciously, with more awareness, more intention, more expression, more connection, which is all of what we want, and more flow. So have fun with that. If you have any questions, you can ask me. You can also click on this chat box down in the bottom right, and actually ask the Meludia support any questions that you have. But I'm also happy to answer anything that you have about any of the exercises, or what level you think that you would like to begin at. So have fun with that, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.